Everybody, Mario Foster with Easton and Smash Sports. I have with us Matt Ferrara from the USA Patriots, formerly known as the Wounded Warrior Amputee Softball Team, and of course, Brett Helmer from Easton Sports. And we are proud to introduce the 2019 Easton Vet. This bat is going to be one of the exclusive bats that are going to go to support the USA Patriots softball program. But before we get into that, right now I want to talk a little bit to Matt. Matt, you're a former law enforcement guy and a former veteran, or should I say current law enforcement guy. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So my name is Matthias Ferreira. I would go by Matt. Originally raised in Atlanta, Georgia. Joined the Marines in 2009 after 9/11, after graduating high school. I knew I always wanted to serve in the United States military, so I joined the Marine Corps. Went and fought in Afghanistan as an infantryman. In 2011, I was injured by an IED, an improvised explosive device, losing both my legs below the knees, and a part of my rehabilitating factor was kind of getting back into sports, and that's kind of how I got into the USA Patriots, now known as USA Patriots, before as Wounded Warrior Amputee Softball Team. And it was part of just kind of using the prosthetics to get back into the game, the camaraderie, just the service and sacrifice that goes onto the field. Same thing goes in the military. And as much as I love playing the game, I just knew that I wanted to do a little bit more. And going through all these tournaments, I started talking to guys about joining law enforcement, and the guys were like, listen, you're athletic, I think you can do the job, why don't you put in for it? So in 2015, 2014, I took the civil service exam. Suffolk County Police Department in New York called me up and said, hey, listen, we don't really have a reason to tell you no, so we'll put you through the academy. If you make it through, and we'll go from there. So I became the first double amputee patrolman in the United States, from what I've been told. Patrolling the streets of Suffolk County, New York, and just continued to strive. And I think that the military and softball and law enforcement all kind of bridged to one another, kind of getting me back to where I am today, being able to stay active, being able to do the duties as a police officer, and just really humbled to be here and be a part of this this week with Easton Sports, of course, and Smash Sports as well.
Well, speaking of Easton, Brett, why don't you share with Matt and everybody listening about what Easton is doing to partner with USA Patriots?
Yeah, for me, this is something, as you know, I've known you for a long time. Military sponsorship, law enforcement sponsorship is something that's been near and dear to me forever, and I've been involved since the get-go on, with police softball and military sponsorships. And I've been fortunate enough to play with when it was the Wounded Warriors, to meet up those guys and play with them at different places around the country over the years, and always waited for the chance to get to be able to sponsor that. It was always contracted with somebody else, and we finally had the opportunity this fall. It presented itself, and I jumped at the opportunity to take that sponsorship. And it's been great already. We met up down in January in Florida for their spring training. Tons of guys come, great atmosphere, into it, play hard, and enjoy it. So for our end, just to be able to be part of that, and I know Rick's just as happy with Smash Sports to partner with that, to be able to put this bat out on the field for them, and for you, congratulations to have your name on there, Mario, as just for yourself. I know means the world to you, and the design. We know it's productive. We know it's an amazing bat, and it hits great, but the look is awesome. I think the guys are going to love it when we get them in their hands. So we couldn't be more happy than we are right now.
Absolutely. And Brett, could you share with Matt and those watching the partnership and what the plan is as it relates to supporting them with the sale of the bat?
That's right. So for every single one of these bets we sell, part of the proceeds will go directly to the U.S. Patriots softball team to help support their travel, keep them on the field, and their charity.
So Matt, as we stated earlier, USA Patriots was formerly known as the Wounded Warrior Amputee Softball Team. So obviously that transition, getting people to understand what that transition is. Could you tell us a little bit about the USA Patriots and what the program is about, what it stands for, and its direction for the future?
Absolutely. So the team was founded, back around 2012, and it was just a couple of guys that were, leaving rehabilitation, learning their new normal. A lot of the guys are obviously missing limbs from combat, or if not, they were serving in the military when they lost their limb. And they were trying to find something to really put together for the guys to build that camaraderie again. And so they were playing just a couple exhibition games here and there, and eventually it's like, all right, well, we're getting too big and we got to figure out what we're going to do. We ended up going to just a camp, to see if the tryouts would kind of bring some talent, and sure enough, we hired a bunch of guys to come out and play, and when I say hired, not really by money, but just come, just kind of put an application together to see what you're all about. And so we started traveling the country, playing with the Wounded and Warrior Amputee softball team, spreading the message that life without limbs is limitless, and really just kind of raising awareness of what's going on, after 9/11 and the injuries that were being sustained in the combat field, and really just bringing it to all the towns, and like I said, raising awareness to remember the guys that are still serving here today, and that the cost of freedom is pretty high, and we just want to really give back to the community as well for all the support that they gave us. Throughout the time, we had all these proceeds that were going to the nonprofit that we wanted to use to start up a kids amputee camp. So a couple of years after the team was founded, we started the kids amputee camp, where we would take about 20 kids in the United States that we found throughout the year that came and watched us play. We would basically, fund everything from the trips to the food to the camp to the uniforms, as well as a parent to come out and watch the kids play. And it wasn't about really just teaching them the game of softball. It was really letting them know that there's other kids out there with the same disability or the same amputation. You want to let them know that, hey, listen, we're adults now. We had our injuries in the war, and you guys might have been born without the limbs, but we want to bridge that together, that, hey, listen, we're going to be your mentor. We're going to be, that big brother type of program. And then it got even bigger than that, so we started getting so many kids that we started an alumni kids camp. So a lot of the proceeds were going also now to fund this kids camp. So we've kind of accumulated a couple different missions throughout the years to not only give back to the community, but give back to the children that are coming out and supporting us, that we're kind of setting a pathway for them to be something big in life, as well as a rehabilitating factor for us. A lot of us have been playing since we were in our early 20s, now we're in our 30s, have kids, been married. Some of us went back to school, some of us are in law enforcement, fire department, some of us are entrepreneurs, some guys are in the business field. So it just really set a foundation for us to continue to live our life, like we like to call our new normal. So we've been extremely blessed to grow, and now obviously partnering up with Easton and Smashing Sports, and I just can't wait to see where it's going to hold in the future.
It's outstanding. Well, we really appreciate you and what you do, Matt. Obviously, you continue to serve with the Thin Blue Line and your service in the United States military, and just Easton and Smashing Sports and the partnership that we're all looking forward to doing really big things in the future. So thank you very much for everything you've done.
Thank
Greg,
you guys.
Thank you for always being an ambassador.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Hey guys, pick this new vet up soon, coming to SmashingSports.com.